Hi, this is Jessica White, and this is my Schoology course for my EDt6020 Summer Block 1 class. So this is the basic front page of my Schoology course. All the components are here, so there's a folder with my teacher information in it, so fun facts and my professional profile. My Start Here folder has some basic background information for students. What if it was during the school year itself and I had an up-to-date digital file of our student code of conduct, that would also be in here, plus also a updated list of information for students on how to contact teachers and so on and so forth. I have my unit here that I will go through in a little bit. I have general course information, which has, again, the syllabus in it and some other, just right now this is the course syllabus. I would, again, link other documents pertinent to the beginning of the year. So what time, like, our lunch schedule maybe is for the day, or the week, or the year if they give it to us in advance. What specific materials they might need, if they need to have a specific item, consistently. Like, I always request students bring headphones to class every day, even if we don't use them, so on and so forth. We have our community discussion board. I did not mean to move that. Right here for students to talk to each other and communicate. Helpful resources and documents. Right now, again, that kind of just has my course syllabus and my link to Google Earth, because we do utilize Google Earth, quite a bit in my class. If it was, again, during the school year, I would have actually a link just like this to our digital textbook. Unfortunately, our textbook is paid for by the unit of students for licensing per year because it is digital. It's from National Geographic. It's a great textbook. I actually do enjoy using it, but unfortunately, because this is not an official course through my school with actual students, I do not have a license to put a link there. But I do have access to show the textbook through the course on my end. And then I do have some troubleshooting Schoology guidance videos down here for specific things, like they won't let students submit the work in the case of Google not communicating with Schoology, how to message me if they need to ask a question or they need my help or anything else, or just to tell me, hey, I got a puppy over the weekend, which happens more than you would think with 6th graders and my lovely little middle schoolers who I love to death. And then finally, I finished my assignment, but how do I submit it? Maybe in case like they've never used Schoology, so on and so forth. I actually do, as the year goes on, if I find that there are things that kids struggle with, I would add more to this or create my own videos. These are pre-recorded videos I found on YouTube that they just link out, but they work fabulously, and I believe if it's not broke, don't fix it. And those people did a fantastic job, so I will let them do that. Now, getting into my Unit 1 Geography Skills and World Culture unit, I'm actually going to start with the learning module aspect. All of my folders are organized by week. The week 0 folder, this would be completed in a single day, like a first day of school, get to know you activity, kind of like, hey, let's do a little pre-test, see what you know kind of activity. And then everything else, they are set up so that they will be completed over a full school week, 5 days or maybe 7 if we're feeling a little fancy and giving the kids some extra time to maybe work on some stuff, like maybe the directions activity, they need a few more days, so I'll give them that extension. But every folder is currently set up with the student progress, so they cannot progress until they've completed the necessary action for each activity. So, for example, they must view the elements of a map, week 1 instructions, they have to view the textbook pages, they have to make a submission on our vocabulary activity before they can start their textbook guided reading, and before they can do their labeling map quiz. So all my folders are set up like that. I tried to make sure that I had different colors for each week, just to kind of make sure there was a differentiation there for students. Unfortunately, it seems Schoology did update since I had color-coded these folders, and now some of them, at least to my eye on this screen, are quite similar, so I might go back and fix that at some point, because again, that was not this similar, but then Schoology updated to this newer design, and that is now what I am working with. there are more than 4 lessons here, and they are each in their own color-coded folder. I'm going to start up here with my self-assessment goal setting activity. So I work with 6th graders. Goal setting is something we are new to. I'm going to move that over. I'll come back to that in just a second. So, oh goodness. Come on, Schoology. Work with me here. There we go. So what I have them do is I have them complete a Google form as a pretest, which is a bunch of questions that they actually will see again. They will see a lot of these on their actual tests and assignments throughout the class. I did make them all multiple choice just so it would quick, easy, fast grade. Immediately give them their score, and then they can use that information on their goal setting. See if I can click on it. So once they take it, they'll put their score that they got here, and then they're going to answer the rest of these questions. So what went well? Where did you struggle? What's the game plan? And hey, Miss White, so tell me what you did well. Did anything remind you of anything you learned in elementary school? Do you need any more help? And then the game plan one, how are you going to improve in the areas you struggled? So are you going to come see me during lunch? Are you going to stay after for homework club? Giving them some options that I know are available. Or let's see if you can be creative and come up with your own solution. And then this is just what I do for kids so they don't have to feel awkward letting you know, like, hey, I have sports every day after school, so doing homework isn't as easy for me, maybe compared to kids who don't have anything after school. So this is kind of an easy, safe way for students to communicate that to me without having to tell me in person if they're uncomfortable. My assessment, which is my quiz, I think it's in my longitude and latitude. It is right here. I have a variety of questions. I have some multiple choice questions where they have to tell me which one is the equator, which one is the prime meridian. And then I have 2 true or false questions, and these do require students to correct the statement to make it true if the statement is false. And then I have a short open-ended question, that asks them to explain in their own words what a global positioning system is and what are some ways it is used in everyday life. As for individual assignments, we use a lot of textbook guided reading and image analysis via the textbook because that is what the guidance is from let me go back to week 1 from our district and from the state at the moment, because we just switched to the fully world geography curriculum. So every folder for the most part has 2 sets of textbook pages. In a normal textbook page, students will actually be able to click on the little speaker buttons and have it read to them, or click on the MT buttons to get modified text. Unfortunately, like I said, this is a modified version of that so that I can show the textbook pages. But then what students will do is they'll complete their vocabulary activity, which I will pull it up in just a minute. And then they'll complete their textbook guided reading, which usually has a variety of image analysis questions, either from the textbook or sometimes the image will be right in the document for them. And then they'll also have video guided questions. We embed the videos, well, we, meaning I, sorry. I embed the videos right into the slides because I treat these like workbooks. So normally if this is like a blended class, I'd say, okay, by the time you guys come into class, it's Monday. By the time you guys come back into class on Wednesday, because I won't see you on Tuesday, you need to have slides 3 through 6 done so that we can go over that information and then move on and do those last kind of higher order thinking, what do you think kind of questions together and have a discussion about them. I did create a basic rubric for all of my textbook guided reading assignments. They all use the same one just to kind of make it easy and get the kids in the groove and get them to a routine of using them. For the group assignment, I am going to take a moment and talk about an individual assignment that students need to complete first. Students had to create a thematic map during our thematic maps week, or will need to create, where they create a thematic map of their schedule. So what they will start with, this is my example. They're going to create a key for the map where they'll have to give me their class, their room number for that class. I provide them with the colors for each period just so we have the same there. Just keep some similarities so it's an easy, like, hey, that is your period 1, cool, because they also need to, like I said, turn in their schedule with this via this key. And then they need to pick a symbol, and they can draw it using the little drawing tool up in the top of, right, oh, did I lose it? Okay, well, there is a drawing tool up here. I'm just struggling to find it at the moment. Insert a drawing, or they can actually use clip art or Google an image and insert it. Then what they are going to do is they are going to draw a shape. I'll show you kind of what I mean, and then I'll remove it later. So say that they had period 1 in room 147 right here. They would draw that shape. They would fill it with red to mark that that is their first period. And then they would insert the image from the web or copy and paste off their chart here, the image that goes with that class. Then students are going to work with a partner that I will assign them, so they're going to work in teams of 2, to do a collaborative project or collaborative comparison. So the first step will be each student is going to complete an individual chart. So partner 1 and partner 2 have the exact same chart. It's just labeled partner 1, partner 2 instead. So partner 1 would work on slide 2 here. They would fill in their first and last name. They would give a link to their partner on this slide so that their partner could come from, partner 2 from slide 3 up to slide 1, click on the link and access their document, and then they would answer these questions right here about their partner's document to kind of give them some background knowledge and see what they visually see to kind of set them up to then, with their partner, draw conclusions about the 6th grade as a whole and their schedules. So I asked students, hey, where do you think most of the 6th grade classes are located based off what you guys are seeing from the data on the maps that you created? What can you draw conclusions about, your teachers? Because I asked them to add the teacher's name into the thematic map at one point. Mr. or Mrs. Salvatore, Mr. Pitts, Ms. White. Can you draw any conclusions about your teachers? And then are there any areas in the building you notice that 6th grade students don't have classes? And what they need to do is then insert images from those maps where they got their data from to support their answer. So they can either screenshot it, copy and paste as needed, however they want to do that. And I do make sure to note that they do need to make sure they explain how that image supports their conclusion. And in some cases where maybe they don't draw the same conclusion, I did come up with the system of, hey, partner 1, you can write in black. Partner 2, you can write in green to write your answers out. As for multimedia, we utilize a lot of videos, as I said earlier, but we're also using tools such as Google Earth, different GPS coordinate sites. We use a lot of image analysis, so whether those images are from our textbook or provided from different news sources. We also utilize games to help students practice their coordinates, especially because that is a really tough concept. We seem to find students struggle with understanding the coordinates on Earth and how they get set up. So for example, we use Battleship here to have them practice playing Battleship. As for my content related discussion board, we actually do a whole unit on the basic of world cultures. What is culture? How is it expressed? And I actually have students share out an example of an expression of culture within their own lives, and then they can have a little discussion of asking questions of each other, seeing if we have any similar expressions of culture between different students. This is a really nice activity. We used to do this in person. We still do it in person in my in-person classes, but having a running document where kids can refer back to as we learn about different cultures and different regions as we move through our geography is really nice, because kids will turn to a friend and be like, hey, didn't you talk about that at the beginning of the year? if we bring up something from a friend's culture, and it's kind of awesome. So yeah, that is my course.